are the LPL killers. They have been historically as early as last year once again to get to their world title. And now at the first foe that they have in front of them in the quarterfinals in TES, also a team from the LPL, they are already on match point. And I say already because I think the expectation generally was going into this that we were going to see a very close match, you know, every game where every objective was contested, where the team fights would be aplenty, and we haven't.
No, we haven't at all. You know, I was looking forward to this most of any quarterfinal because I thought it was going to be a slugfest. I thought it was going to be both these teams going right at each other, fighting nonstop, contesting 2v2s, contesting mid-jungle, and it has been this kind of slow burn where the teams are scaling up, and T1 is just out-executing at the end of the day.
Yeah, and my thing is, both of these teams have looked hesitant at times, but when it's come time for TES to actually do something, they don't necessarily make the right decision, right? I want to return everyone's mind to around 11 minutes in the game, where, first of all, in mid lane, as we pull up the clip, JackeyLove is going to take a massive amount of damage here as Oner is going to essentially jump on him, right? So we roll through. He ends up getting chunked out significantly from this. Blowsums, now they're like, okay, we're still going to try to contest these grubs. Tian starts it up. If we can pause right here. So Tian is still gonna go in. Galio is coming down from top side. They have pushed out top. And as we play through, Tian actually does get one of these grubs. And so you're like, okay, that's fine. You know what? We have 3 grubs, that's 3. T1 can't, you know, like T1 are not gonna get the 4. JackeyLove is still very low health here, but no, we're going in, and it's just really disjointed. They don't seem to be super coordinated in a lot of these decisions. And, you know, Rob, you and I have watched JackeyLove for years, and it's really frustrating to see these decisions from TES.
Yeah, it blows my mind. JackeyLove is never going to beat this Ioni Arcane shift forward in Ezreal if he continues to play like this, because it has been so upsetting that a man has put in so much work for the last 2 years to become stable, to become a carry you can rely on, shows up on the world stage like this. This is not the player that we saw in the LPL. This was a team of magic and mojo, and all we're getting is missteps and a complete mess from this team.
I get your frustration, and
so
just to give it back to you, Emily, because not just JackeyLove, this team got 0 kills in that last game. That is the 17th time internationally that has happened. That is not something you want to see happen in a quarterfinal in a game 2.
No, and it's infuriating, because it's not just on JackeyLove, right?
No.
But when we talk about narratives, when people only see a team on the international stage and a player performs like this, it's infuriating, because this TES team, JackeyLove was way more stable, to your point, Rob, domestically, but then they've executed on team fights so well, and they have not been able to get one in either of these games.
But for every misplay, there's also an outplay. There's someone capitalizing on it. And in this series, it has been T1 taking advantage of the mispositioning, and it's been Faker who is really stepping up in this game. Any mistake it felt like that top was going to be making, Faker was there to punish. He's there finding the pick on Tian as he's walking into those grubs that maybe they shouldn't have been at. He's flashing forward and finishing off JackeyLove. He's chasing down kills at the end of the fights, and he's really becoming an X factor in this series.
Yeah, and on Ari again, right?
Yep.
And everyone was really playing out of their minds, I want to say, for T1. Keria also, and in our Baron fight, it is our HyperX Reflex replay, just a little bit of the minutiae into kind of how they play out these team fights and why it is so impressive.
Yeah, and I think Keria was incredible here. He even gets spotted coming into this bush, hops over the wall, sidesteps the chains from Creme, but flashes crucially onto JackeyLove, which sets up then for Oner to follow through, and once more, JackeyLove out of position is capitalized by T1, thanks to incredible performance by Keria, and the rest of T1 then, with JackeyLove out of the fight, are just able to chase down these ragged members on top esports.
We just got the information that TES will be on the blue side, but I do want to talk a bit also about kind of T1 going into this last game now, and the fact that in summer, nobody would have ever thought that they would have been as good as they have been so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a T1 team that came into this World Championship being like, they are going to defend their title, right? Like, they're one like misstep, KT misstep away from not making it to the World Championship at all. So to see them dig in and show up, I think makes those struggles that we saw from them in summer mean so much more to see this team be able to show up once again on the international stage.
I'm going to say, it just adds to the aura of this team. It just doesn't feel
big
like
time.
the summer split ever matters. You know they're going to deliver at Worlds.
It's crazy, and it happens so many times. Now, TES Dagda, as your prediction hangs into bounds. Actually, it's already
dead.
It's already at the window.
It's already good. What are they going to do? They're going to stay on the blue side here.
I think it's already too late, to be honest.
Oof.
I think this is a team that has definitely had struggles when it comes to mental. And I think at this stage, they have been way too hesitant. We haven't seen them play to their game. And what has been exceptional for them domestically has now disappeared on the international stage. I honestly think at this stage it's T1 3-0.
Wow, TES, I mean, your Savory has deserted you. Even Dagda has no faith in you. Well, maybe this is when they can rally, as we see that pose we know so well out of Faker, getting into the zone to perhaps book his ticket to the semifinals next.
And here we are. Will it be the 3-0? Will TES be able to mount that comeback? The potential of a reverse sweep. The pressure
saying it
on
looks like
this
no.
team. I think
certainly
that's a
looks
fair
like a
call.
no.
We have to see more than what we've seen across those first two games from TES. Yes, it was close, but close is not enough. It's not enough to trade cooldowns evenly when you're going to lose in the clutch fight. So now they're back on blue. What will change? How will they adapt? What can TES show us in this game 3?
And they need to give us a good amount of creativity, because what we have seen from them so far has not worked out. And the B1 Sylas now no longer seems to be on the table, as Faker was able to make that Ahri counterpick work for what feels like the first time consistently throughout this tournament.
Look at that respect.
Yeah, as we enter Champions Select powered by Omen and HyperX, you can already see Keria's Rakan taken off the board, but I feel like TES are just juggling problem champions to ban. First it was the Vi, then it was the Sejuani, and this is how it feels when you lose the first two games. You have to hope that there's more that they have prepared for this series, because thus far every option has failed them. The Rumble now taken out. They don't want to see it on either side, but the junglers wide open. Sejuani in game 1 was the pick. The Vi still available for Oner if he wants it, and the Sylas remains the priority for TES.
Okay, and they slam instantly the Gnar as well. With the Jax and Renekton and Cassante and everything all up, they want that versatile pick for Zeus.
And this feels like a call-out. Zeus has gotten the better of 369.
Well,
and I feel like just full confidence picking Gnar here just means that you feel like you're better.
That's straight up this. You're picking Gnar into Sylas.
Yeah.
Right, that is what's next. They're going to pick Alistair. That's one of the best ultimates that you can possibly get. That's Faker's.
The Galio, one of the ones we mentioned in the previous game as a possible cook into the Sylas, but shows up here. I will say there is a slight swinging door open for a flex even into support, although that is very far down the draft. Would have to be a very big surprise towards the end, but they are red side, and generally they're going to save Keria's final pick, the counter pick, to red side, so to keep it a little bit open.
Xin coming through, strong mid-jungle duo, but I will say with Gnar locked in, you highlighted the Sylas interaction, but also the Rage Bar means that T1 aren't going to have the same liberty to play at arm's length like they did in the previous game. They will need to go in when that Gnar bar is up. It's going to take them about 30 seconds to recharge it. That's not the difficulty Sylas is going to have when he steals that ult away, so they have to be decisive. Now it's the Xayah coming out, the potential for picks here from the side of TES.
IG Xayah slammed here. Let's see it.
For JackeyLove, it also means that I think with the Ezreal, we already saw him have a lot of agency. In a very different way, Xayah does exactly that. The amount of late game teamfight carry potential you have, the possibility of poke on mid to late game is really strong. I do feel like Xayah, contrary to the Ezreal, that starting at 2 items becomes a menace. You need more time, and that is a bit of a gambit given how more time in this series has always favored T1. Guma, last game, I gave some flack to Xayah. I will remain convinced for now, after that game he played, was able to both maximize damage in the fights and never get touched.
This is the struggle, obviously. Blue side gives you that first pick priority access on the Sylas. The red side for T1 means they're likely to have counter pick for support, so we're already seeing some of the worst defenders taken off the board. The Renata, universally quite powerful. Jungle pool still relatively open. Again, Sejuani, Vi, both been banned in this series, not banned here.
Keria soaking bans here. What will be the final one from TES? These two, of course, the go-to pairings with the Xayah. And Keria doesn't have to go with another engaged support, but he very well might. They opt to go for the Vi instead here. Take it away from Oner, who has been so good at it at Worlds with it so far.
Oner's pick expected to come through here.
Sejuani
is, yeah.
Malachi even is a well, not into a Sylas.
Yeah, he already has enough good ultimate.
They already gave him the Gnar. I don't think they want to give him anything else.
Oh,
okay.
Yep, that
even better.
Oh, that is such a sick pick into everything that TES
Literally
has so far.
literally
all of them.
How many times yesterday did we see Peanut block a Xayah from being able to dive into the back line and finish a kill off? And that is what TES want to be able to do with all these champions. Find these isolated targets, pick them off for the Galio before anyone else can get involved.
Also, like, you're running, again, a dive, a short-range comp into Poppy Galio. That's
Also,
always going to be tough. I think you need to go for something like a Hail Mary, but
it's still a flex.
You're literally diving into anti-dive right now.
Yeah.
You are full diving into full anti-dive. That is a scary proposition for TES.
That's not great.
That is a very scary proposition for TES. But you can't pull off the brakes now. You're already really committed to full dive, so they're going to full send it. But T1 have literally some of the best, if not the best, anti-dive in the entire game drafted for themselves.
Also, just Mertrez is insane in this game. The damage reduction, the tenacity. Now, again, the Poppy remains a flex. We saw Peanut bring it out in the jungle. Poppy support, super popular at MSI, less successful here at Worlds thus far. What is the angle?
Ooh. We don't trust Keria, guys. Don't worry. We'll see what actually ends up locked in here. I do think continuing with the theme of counter dive definitely is the way to go.
The global pressure.
Oh!
The Pyke!
And that goes all the way back to the DRX Keria days. This man loves his Pyke.
It feels so poetic against what could be an elimination game for yet another LPL team against T1. Another name on the list for T1. How many times have they taken down an LPL representative? How many times have they knocked down the hopes of this region? It's volatile, it's explosive, and I'll be honest, it's pretty damn risky, but T1 are gonna go for the Pyke.
I think it's a really good pick into stuff like the Xin. You know, they want to try and pressure Tian and look for picks on him. The jungle plus support duo here is just so lethal. Poppy already counters Xin mobility, which is very limited to begin with, and Pyke can punish it over and over and over. You burn that Xin flash one time, it feels like support jungle is massively, massively in the favor there of T1. They also have legendary Faker at Worlds, Galio, at their back, ready to throw down Galio ultimates. I foresee the beginning of this game, Oner and Keria being able to run wherever they want and determine the pace.
And again, a game where Keria has so much agency. We haven't seen Pyke since 2022 Worlds. This is a champ that, similar to the Rakan, can be anywhere, can dance around a lot of these picks. The difference, Pyke does a hell of a lot of damage early on. If he goes for the Hail of Blades, this is going to be tough to match.
Plus, it's a huge pressure on your mid lane matchup because this Galio pick into Sylas is already threatening, has so much setup potential, and now you're going to have to worry about Pyke roams from bottom lane, Poppy possible ganks as well from Oner. There's so much potential here. TES, though, they have to dig deep. Our whole site has to be on TES right now. This is a must-win game for them to keep their year alive.
And in their first best of 5, back at MSI, right, which was Creme's first international, they were able to crawl their way back to a Game 5, and then unfortunately dropping to Gen G, but that was the eventual tournament winner. But what was much more harrowing was then the follow-up series, where they got 3-0'd. And you gotta imagine the amount of pressure on these players just to ensure that it does not happen again is something that's going to be weighing heavily on their minds as we go into this possibly final game.
And for Tian, early jungle pick, a proactive early jungler. Diego wasn't successful. The Ivern was not successful. This is our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz for damn good reason, because this is the house that this man won Worlds in. And now he's on the cusp of yet another failure for a TES team that has been haunted for years. Keria pulling away the blue, resetting the early pathing, and already it's starting off with a small edge.
They can
to
do it
T1.
again.
Pyke value showing up already here for Keria. As you can see, Oner on the opposite side of the map because of the lane swap, starting on enemy wolves with the Poppy and cleanly clearing their side of the map. Keria now trying to get his level 2 in mid lane. Again, the top laners have the ability to teleport over. They try and defend with the level 2 tops and level 2 supports.
This pairing of Gumayusi and specifically Zeus and Gnar to just mow down turrets is something that T1 have been using actually really consistently. They love this pairing of Guma together with Zeus on a pick that can actually push nicely early. We'll see how much value they're going to get out of it this time around.
You can see level 2, they'll just delete that wave, the power of the boomerang, as well as the feather collar. Faker and Keria try to get a bit of work done in the mid lane. Again, Pyke alone does a lot of damage in those early levels. A Bone Skewer into the triple auto from Halo Blades, usually enough to take about half the health of any level 1 or level 2 champion.
So Keria's going to try and slip in for the defense here. Oner actually went back to base, so they're going to teleport in top lane and try and 3-person defend, but Keria getting pushed out from even getting to the tower itself. Oner is on the way walking. Guma is also walking, so they keep Zeus topside while everybody else from T1 walks.
Zeus, able to snipe a little bit of XP there without having to overcommit. Waiting to see if the TP would come through. Getting so much. 369 delayed on the recall. Ooh. Keria stunned. Pyke squishy early on, but obviously get to the drown, keeping him relatively topped up.
That stun had hit so close there. Does not get the stun under the tower though.
Yeah, because Jackie actually did have turret aggro, took one, which is why his health bar kind of got chunked. The short-term benefit definitely here for TES. The advantage that T1 got out of that is that Zeus still has his TP. Whereas 369 had to use it to go towards the top half of the map. But early gold lead, as you would expect in a lane swap, goes to the team that has their normal lane or has their multitude of members towards the bot side of the map.
Yeah, teleport advantage and experience advantage for the Gnar here, for Zeus. And an exceptional performer for this squad. Again, last couple of years, he has knocked out 369 as well, regardless of 369 being on a different team.
Will be the third year in a row.
And sadly for TES, JDG was in semis both times the 369 was knocked out. It was not a quarterfinal. But they might not even get to see semis.
Might is good. Meiko
chase. Phase rush as well, so he'll be able to get another auto down. Just zoom after Meiko, ensure that he can really just not do anything on the map. Keria on the way as well.
See how deep they go with it.
Follow-up stun, forces the flash. And Meiko has to respect this because the burst damage in early levels from Poppy and Pyke together is incredible.
Yeah, Keria was pretty deep, so he ends up having to flash himself as well. Oner was already rotating to this top side.
Tian, can he cover this dive? 369, not really great wave clear. Gnar fading away. Zeus a little bit more vulnerable. You can see that XP advantage paying off as 369 tries to get what he can.
But he doesn't have TP, so any damage that can come down onto him is gonna really stick.
Yeah, Zeus with the experience advantage, with the teleport advantage, chunking away, poking under tower, working away at half of a turret plate already.
Right now, T1 constantly active on the map. TES doing a good job of at least staying even in terms of overall gold. Kind of forced to respond to what T1 is doing. Hook is excellent. Follow-up is there. Ignite 2! It's a clean combo!
He knew! The setup, again, as we said, is always available in the Galio-Sylas matchup. Keria is there. They easily execute. And T1, they start their snowball. They craft it in the lane swap and in mid lane first.
And it's the Pyke that gets the kill as well. And there's a lot of supports where getting an early kill doesn't feel too impactful, but this pick snowballs so insanely well when you can get the early items.
And we'll see what the early itemization choice is, if it's still something like Umbral, if he wants to provide that additional utility to the team. But regardless, this is so frustrating because it feels like for 3 games now, Keria has been so active on the map for the entire duration of the game, and it's something that TES have not been able to stymie, slow down, or stop. Meiko once again on the back foot. Yes, he has Leona, such a powerful pick. But Keria has just been able to be in more places thanks to the Bard, thanks to things like this Pyke.
2 Galio ults available here as we do have our first grub fight on our hands. Oner gets the smite.
Smite level 5. Poppy very, very tanky. Nice interrupt coming in from Oner. That's steadfast presence. Tian Still full health, so second grub is going to go over to the side of TES. Good to have that early boon. Again, 4 grubs, the threshold, but in an excellent position for the second spawn. T1 trying to get some bot lane priority, but don't have the best early dragon contest.
What's been so cool to watch T1 in this series, of course the outplays, you know, and the execution in their fights, but also they haven't taken any of these unnecessary fights from their perspective. You know, giving up the ones that they, well, let's see about this chicken fight first.
Taunt being down big, but Faker is able to just punch his way out to safety.
And what the Bard and the Pyke have in common as well, and in this game we did actually end up lane swaps, is that the amount of impact that Keria had, I think, domestically was negligible. The coordination wasn't there. So him, particularly on these extremely heavy roam champions, actually making the plays work out really big. I also want to highlight, as might have a player Creme again.
Going in, into the taunt, follow up CC there. Creme getting lower and lower. Don't quite have the first damage to finish him off, but yeah, no TP, so that damage is going to stick. He has 3 biscuits and a pot. He's going to need to start chugging immediately.
Oner is on his way over on the Poppy as well. They're just pushing him out. Look at the zoning. You don't have to even go for too much more. You just push Creme away from the big old minion wave. Deny a couple of minions there at the tower. Make TES call the rest of their resources. Call over Tian, call over Meiko to even help Creme be able to salvage the minions.
Something I do really like, want to highlight this, even though it is going to impact the team fighting, is that it looks like 369 is actually going for AD Kennen. Because you already have the Xayah, you have the Sylas, you're not really in need of AP. The downside is that the team fighting value is really going to be struggling. And to me, AD Kennen is one of those picks that is very win more. And with the way that the early lane played out, Zeus had an early level lead, so you haven't actually been able to build the lead that I think you need for this pick to work inside.
It's true. And T1 also have the Pyke, which is also a win more style pick. And so it feels like whichever team, similar to last game, is able to find that edge, a significant gold lead of any kind, is really set to run away with this game 3 in a situation where TES are down 2 games. They have to find advantage. 369 walking up.
Keria's here.
Meiko going forward, not quite able to find the knockback into the wall. Tian still has ultimate. Meiko taking his time. Resistance is now fading away. An excellent use of the steadfast presence. Galio coming in. Faker en route. JackeyLove isolating Guma. Faker stepping up, and Tian there to body block for the team. Keep your eyes on that Pyke hook. Tian pulled over the wall. Oner not quite able to find the wall bang. Tian now forced to retreat. Creme going in. Hasn't taken an ulti quite yet. Ulti response from the Poppy, though. Can just keep the channel going, get that cooldown down to 15 seconds. And Zeus just trying to clear this wave as quickly as he can, but Mega is getting stacked.
He has flash.
Zeus should be in trouble, but he makes the move first! He looks him dead in the eye and says, I dare you!
And Creme even had the Gnar ultimate, but Zeus was still ahead of him.
T1 strike first again. Under tower, pressured, low health bars, and the flash comes through into the wall, comboed into Faker's taunt, and T1 3-0 on the board.
And the confidence and execution has just been better for T1 across this series, and we see it again. They had all of the tools to kill that Gnar, but in the seconds that rage bar ticked up, they didn't go fast enough. They weren't confident enough to take that play, and it all fell apart. Creme still has access to this Gnar ultimate for a little bit longer. Maybe he can get something back, but it's starting to feel like the writing is on the wall.
T1 have just looked fearless in this whole series. Last game was most evident in the quick plays. Here, these small advantages are actually accrued by TES. The big chunks in health bar on Oner, on Zeus there. The Galio ultimate already down. But look, Keria looks for another play. They get a flash out of Tian, then Creme comes over with the extra health bar, and they want to force it. The small things, you know, Conqueror here, already stacked by Creme. He wants to keep it up. They turn towards Zeus.
And you can see the desperation, because even if they somehow get an ultimate, like Zeus was gonna hit Mega no matter what in that play. And I think it's the pressure getting to TES. They could have opted out of that play and just taken the summoners, but they don't, and that might very well be it.
And Zeus says, you may have stolen my ultimate, but you're just the knockoff version. Shows him the real thing.
And now second grub spawn. This is the thing, it's not just the gold to Zeus, it's control of the map, it's control in the 1v1. It's a 1,000 gold lead for Faker in the isolated 1v1 versus Sylas.
And this was the champion that Faker used to desperately try and 1v9 his way to another World Win, right? Fell short, got dispatched by Samsung. And in this game, still the most fed member, by the way, making the impact on the side lanes as they look for another possible play onto Zeus. But now, because of those kills, or because of the assists rather, like Zeus has a lead into this AD matchup. It looks like Creme is going to possibly get zoned off of the wave again.
Keria is a menace. This whole series, T1 dominating. Creme just has to watch.
And there's nothing he can do. Waits for the wave to get trimmed a little bit before he can even step up. Knows that he has to clear it, and again with Death from below available, Ignite, Halo Blades, a Pyke ahead of the curve, and a Galio that already has enough MR to mitigate any damage Creme could hope of doing. There's just so few angles to play. When you have the AD Kennen, when you have the Sylas, if you get a lead, you can really take over the map. But they're behind so early. They're behind before Kennen's even completed an item.
I already dislike AD Kennen as soon as you start talking about it.
Yeah, I pointed it out, and I wish you guys could have seen Kobe's face. Because I'm like, oh, maybe, you know, and Kobe was not. I mean, he's not having it.
I mean, dream scenario is you can like get to a point where you're playing side lanes, but they haven't been able to play.
You're also playing into Galio. I know you have Sylas, but even then.
Also into Pyke, right, who can just collapse on the side lane so quickly as, again, Keria continues to wreak havoc. Good on TES. They are able to grab the objective. We're better on the setup. Did get the push out. Still behind, but holding on to something in this game.
The idea is we can play a large map. We can try and draw them apart. We have JackeyLove on Xayah. We can try and make some trap plays.
Try to collapse,
but because they just keep getting behind so early here to T1 by simply outplaying them, it just seems like it is so out of reach.
Look at the siege.
Guys,
Mid lane turret is just getting obliterated. TES continuously getting bullied off these turrets. And they have another desperation play in them, but like the gold lead is very quick. We're talking about 3.5K at 30 minutes.
What's terrifying is as the series has progressed, T1 have gotten more dominant in every single game. And yes, last game was slow. It came down to 1 or 2 fights, but they had executed when it mattered. TES need to be willing to get aggressive. They need to be able to fish for these picks. This one probably won't work because Faker, again, doesn't take damage.
He is Mercs and Hollow Radiance.
Yeah.
He's not taking damage.
1.7K gold ahead, fully built. Like, Faker is built different, and it is going to be too difficult to take him down.
I never knew what we meant by that was Mercs and Hollow Radiance, but now I understand very specifically what people mean when they say he's built different. As Pyke going in, Phantom Undertow is clean, 369 running.
Oh, come on!
Hold on to the blast, but there's Oner! The blast, the knock back into the wall, the knock up as well. Might's coming in. T1 making a montage out of TES in game 3.
TES coming for the closing on the blade.
Don't do it to a MasterCard. Don't do it to him. Oh, the lane economy is bad. The economy is difficult. The economy is rough for TES again. Need to find angles, need to find fights, but a 5K gold difference before 15 minutes. TP in. T1 know they're stronger. They just want to keep fighting. They want to further cement their lead. Zeus rage perfectly stacked. Creme, a chance of redemption. Can he find the angle this time around? The hook back. He's forced to flash away. Zeus shepherding them in. No play here for T1. Maybe a bit over eager.
Looks like mid will fall to the minions there. So T1 not even going to be that sad about that trade.
Another hook. JackeyLove forced to cleanse. Not quite in range of the taunt. T1 almost getting the perfect combo.
I'm going to have nightmares about Keria's Pyke, honestly.
I was about to say,
is he going to hook you next?
Well, I don't know.
Hold on to me.
I got you, Kobe. Don't worry. We're not going to let him get to you.
Keria's going to hook you down to the stage.
The problem is, Keria's not only terrifying TES, he's also going to ruin solo queue. Because everyone who thought, you know, maybe I don't need to play this champion, maybe it's not worth.
The bards and pikes are going to be everywhere.
The bards and pikes are out tonight, boys. Halloween is coming early this year.
I want to give a little piece of wisdom by Keria himself. You are not T1 Keria, and your team is not T1. Do not attempt to play this. And we're making jokes because it feels like this game is just completely out of control. Maybe TES can find the turn.
This has to be it. They have to get something here, but Oner's already walked away. Taunt coming from Faker. Nice ulti coming in from Creme. Oner set to fall.
That's one. They could get a tower as well. The minion wave on bottom side. Maybe they can just push out this wave. They're not done.
Keria going in, finds the initial stun. No, Tian able to sidestep on the Phantom Undertow. Guma. Gnar there for Zeus. Wall up there, coming in as well. Zeus getting lower. TES trying to hold on to the fights. Tian now chasing in. JackeyLove quick to follow. Guma has the ulti, has the cleanse, has the flash. Feathers go up. comes down, walks away, knows that this is not their fight. TES striking back in this crucial game 3.
The second kill plus, they can keep pushing.
Another hook. Keria's not done. JackeyLove's out of tools. Going to the depth. Oh, it's clean! This man plays Pyke. You love to see it. The ult. Not there for the execute. There for the range extension on the Phantom Undertow.
Still, TS got to focus on the objectives. Tower that they were pushing towards on the bottom side. They need every bit of gold they can find on the Rift, and they find a tiny bit more there.
These are the moments where if TES is going to make their way back, it's going to have to start small, individual pickoffs.
Yep. One step at a time.
T1 feel invulnerable with the lead that they have, but they are not ready for this teleport. This time, Creme does actually get a really nice Gnar into the wall, allowing him to take out Oner. And then T1, again, as T1 does, goes in very aggressively. Crucially, Creme doesn't get hit by Zeus. So then Zeus is in Narnia. Faker doesn't actually deny JackeyLove access to the fight, and they're able to get another kill.
Good fight. Overall, you can see
This was Keria.
This
Look,
is how you know.
look at the threading.
The bad Pikes, ult is just an execute. The good Pikes, oh yeah.
Oh, the reposition using the ultimate to ensure the stun lands after the flash.
Jackie walked out of the comfort of those minions.
That's Lopark having a good time.
Look at the confidence. Keria, that man is locked in. That man is laser focused. But the good news, again, for TES, T1 have not won yet. Creme, the potential to steer that Gnar ultimate in all the fights to come, only getting more and more AP. T1 over-eager in the previous fight, and TES now with much better tools to punish. And again, Pyke is not a champion who scales gracefully into the game. Later, he's just going to get one-shot by any piece of CC.
And can TES get to the point where they do pull T1 across the map? Now that both side lane towers are down, they're threatening these trailing plays, walking behind 369 as he pushes up. 369 with the teleport available as they go for the jungle invade. Oner again with the smite actually
Meiko.
secures.
Steadfast presence comes out a little bit early, perhaps. T1 walking away. TES starting to move up. You can see them grouping so much. No one is responding to top wave yet. They're going to send Creme to catch it. They're going to at least clear out mid, try to use that pressure to get some control somewhere on the map.
With the game state, again, 4.5k gold lead, definitely quite rough. My main thing, we haven't really talked about him yet, is the fact that Guma is disaccelerated. Specifically, him on Xayah gives so much additional safety in team fights. I think we saw in the previous fight, he wasn't really able to be a big part of it, which was a large reason of why TES was able to actually make the plays. But Jackie only sitting on an item. We talked about this, the spike for this Xayah isn't really going to be the same way it was, and that was also a very different game state with the Ezreal being even, as opposed to really far behind. But you really need that third item before you become a big menace. And with Guma being as far ahead as he is, I think TES is going to have to find a way to get on top of the Xayah. Infinity Edge now done as well.
But getting on top of anyone on T1 has been the struggle of TES across the entire series. They're just always out of reach.
Again, because in draft, T1 recognized very early on that you're going to go for dive, and so they're drafting all this counter dive. Galio, Poppy, Xayah, even Gnar. And T1 here pushing out once again, sending Faker to the top side with his newly completed Rift Maker.
Keria.
It's a lot of
He's
people.
a little bit crazy. He's just going to swap places there. The hook, the Phantom Undertow. Now TES starting to get back to that vision control. Umbral Glaive allowing T1 so much more control. As long as it's not off cooldown, you know you're invisible on the map.
Gold lead has been very stable though, and for TES, I think that's the best you're going to get in a situation like this. Try and trade as evenly as you can. As you get deeper into the game, those relative differences of items are going to matter less. I do got to say though that this 80 Kennen, again, the position that you're in, you're 900 gold behind on a pick that really needs to get an early lead and kind of run away with it. You want to be able to actually match the teamfight impacts of the Gnar.
Plus, the problem right now is, even if you want to play so much on side lanes and on a spread map, it's really difficult the way the game is set up with objectives to actually fully win a game that way. And so, at some point, you're going to be forced to try and go through a Poppy and through a Galio ult. T1 here, though, poking around, try and flirt with a possible red steal, but it will not be theirs. TES secure it.
Keria Again, going very deep for these plays.
Constantly off to the side, but again, he has Mercs able to walk away initially. Poppy all coming out, but it's bad enough. Key pick. T1 now trying to disengage desperately, but Creme going in. Gumayusi. Not gonna force to ult.
Meiko's had enough. Meiko has had enough of Keria's antics. The punish is good from TES, but unfortunately for them, there is no big objective to take. And so it's just the kill money for now.
But good to get that money back. Crucial to get that money back. Again, 2 items on Jackie. You talked about 3 items when that poke can start to come through. Stop T1 from being able to find fights so reliably. Even with MR in the inventory, that Xayah poke would be insurmountable.
Faker's on his way.
Faker off to the side. 369. But it's Faker versus 4 here on the bottom side. Faker can force ult out. Being zoned off, ensuring that Zeus can push the wave, but that TP not really amounting to much.
Yeah, they want to take advantage since Creme was up on top side with no teleports to be able to join, but the rest of T1 also a bit too far for the real trap.
And I will say that the discipline we saw from T1 in Game 1 and Game 2 isn't quite as omnipresent.
Well, I think most of them have been very disciplined. I think Keria has not. As you do when you play Pyke.
That's fair.
Definitely trying to style a little bit, but do not underestimate TES. Still, the team fighting potential of this team. Again, I want to go in that Gnar ultimate that Sylas can steal. Well, JackeyLove now hitting his 2-item spike. See if they're able to use that as... If they lose another fight, then the Baron becomes available for T1. They have control of the pit. Start of the objective here. As Zeus does just now timeout on his Mega Gnar.
Good fight timing. Keria not gonna hit the hook, force back for at least a few seconds.
There's the TP.
TP now coming in, 369, not the AP Kennen again, is about to just get one shot completely here. Keria finding the kill onto 369. TES trying to fire back, but they're down a man. There might not be a Mega Gnar for T1, but they might not need it. Tian, at the very least, getting the steal. Retreat coming out. Keria will not find the hook.
Meiko towards Nash is T1. Don't see the pings going down, but they are very clearly thinking in that direction. No 369, 20 seconds, does have the teleport available.
Creme no ultimate, Kennen no ultimate, Tian no ultimate. This is such
a
brutal fight.
No, it's not being started yet.
That blue ward is crucial. Guma gonna start it. They're baiting. They're forcing T1 to come respond. Or sorry, excuse me, TES to respond. Meiko. Where's the hook gonna go? Faker right on top of Meiko. Creme doesn't really have a recourse here. Oner looking for the knockback, but Creme the ulti just in time. Knocking it too. JackeyLove still standing. Keria running for the hills. It's all about this 80 carry. It's all about JackeyLove. 369. No ulti. Maybe no hope. Flashback onto the ultimate from Zeus. The taunt not gonna connect. Crucially, the stun coming in from 369. TES. JackeyLove fighting their way back in Game 3. But Guma stands strong. The blades are called. The feather's there. JackeyLove gone. Keria stepping up. The hook not going to hit. Zeus running a close fight, but T1 still standing.
And so much is invested there, but the fight, even though it was close, still not going the way of TES, but crucially, they deny the Baron attempt here from T1.
Look at the face check here, right into Faker again, so you think it's going to be all over as they just burst down. Meiko put the return damage. Jackie firing, gets the first kill for them, takes down Oner, and then it's all about the focus damage. Jackie flashes both Faker and Zeus for the re-engage. The Galio shield barely keeping him up. Jackie commits to go finish him, and Guma punishes.
But at that point, like that Galio is out of the fight, going in that aggressively might come back to bite you. You use both summoners. You got the kill on the tank, but Guma got the immediate shutdown. And T1 still trying to actually close out this game. Guma now on 3 items on the Xayah.
TES showing some life, though, in these fights. Fighting back. They're not going to go down that easily. Let's see about the next attempt, because they're grouping for it.
Can't afford to make a mistake, though. 2.5 items to 3. Guma's looking powerful. Good interrupt on the initial engage coming in from Meiko. No re-engage option there. Locket gone. Zeus on the side, but he just went mini. And
That
T1.
was tumultuous blast cone.
A little bit awkward. Hook from Keria. Follow-up, Creme forced to dash and Protobelt again. T1 just chipping away at these TES cooldowns.
Jackie has to be so careful now, too. No summoner spells on the Xayah. With Guma having both, you have to think that Xayah will just be so
They do have
safe.
vision with the crab that they got, so know that Baron isn't being started. T1 still fishing. I don't think they're really going to get anything here.
Guma trying to do a little baiting maybe even here with the Xayah, with ult and double sums. very confident to
And
take
they
the
go,
minion wave.
this is such an easy Baron for T1. If TES walk into this 3-item Xayah, they will get
Pressure's
slaughtered.
done for Jackie. That's that 3-item PowerPoint, but I don't know if he's going to be in
late to the
time.
objective.
Burn, burn, burn.
369. Kennen ready to go. 3K getting lower. Knocked back by Oner. Finishes the job, and now it's Meiko who's been caught out. T1 with the Baron. They're looking to grab the pick as well. Flashback from Meiko. TES trying to stand strong. Xayah's ready to go into the midst of the fight. Knock up, not going to connect from the Galio. Tian starting to walk forward. TES do not want to let them walk away with this Baron buff, but they might have to. Tian going in. A little bit of poke going back. JackeyLove again, the AP he needs to continue to harass, but T1 crucially walk away with the Baron.
Meiko has to go back to base. They actually got such a good Poppy ultimate combined with Faker trapping Meiko for the big damage and earning the extra health bar lead. After they had already acquired the Baron, now they can push out.
Guma still had his sums, had his ultimate available there, right? If you over dive into that and he can just kite back with the feathers. Now he's level 16!
I mean, and the thing is, you have to fight him. You have to go into him. Your wave
no
clear.
choice.
Your wave clear on this team is abysmal. Yes, you're so good at these scrappy fights, the side lane Kennen, but it's not AP Kennen. He can't just one-shot. He can't one-shot clear a wave. And so the options for TES are starting to dwindle one by one in the face of this T1 Baron buff.
Yeah. 369 actually, he was the one getting one shot at the last Dragon fight.
Yeah.
Going right next to the wall this time around. With Dragon spawning very shortly, T1 have an easy way to pick up the bottom tower. Keria actually is tanking it.
Still a lot of HP for that, but has the Baron empowered recall, so we'll be fine. And now the collapse from T1. Recognizing the 369. Trying to put pressure on the side wave.
Another TP!
And again, another situation. Flash out from Guma.
It's good.
Positive trade
They
on the
got
top
the trap.
side. Oner gonna get taken down. Good trap. Knockback. No, he's not!
On!
He gets them both! Creme chasing. No one else here, but surely he can take down Oner. Knockback. The Poppy zooming. The chain last should surely get the job done, and it will. Keria won't be able to save the jungler, but it costs so much for TES.
Dragon's up!
TES, they just keep holding on by such a small margin. Critical pick taking down T1's jungler. No
also
spite
gone.
for T1
Double
now.
TPs and a massive wave bot side.
Oh, they
Someone on
also-
TS has to respond.
They also got the flash from Guma. Tian actually doing a lot of damage, but Guma, he's just soloing the dragon!
Can TS look for something while Oner is down?
Zeus, again, stacking that rage. TES have to be
afraid.
careful. They can't afford to take the fight when Gnar is present. JackeyLove's summoner spell cooldowns right around the corner. Flash about to be up. Maybe then TES can try to find their fight.
And TES, they don't want this to be a repeat of their 3-0 at MSI. Trying their very hardest, still clinging on to this game, even though it is tenuous. JackeyLove about to hit his Void Staff, slowly getting closer to the penetration item for Creme as well. But I do think, again, if that damage doesn't land on the Guma, I don't know how much of it matters.
Initial hook, just a bit of poke. They'll at least know Meiko's there.
He's low.
Guma isolated, forced to ult a little bit earlier than anticipated. Phantom Undertow to try to cover the retreat. T1 backing up. TES looking to gain control of the mid wave. Meanwhile, 369 in the bottom lane, pushing up, putting that pressure on T1, but T1 might just look for the 5v4. Area hook going wide. Still has the spell shield for now, however.
Guma can just heal up off the jungle camps right now, but the split push is taking its toll. Another minion wave here up to the tower. 369 taking away extra turret health. Meanwhile, T1 actually make the cross map play.
Tier 2 likely for Tier 2, but Creme is stepping up.
Gonna take him a while. But PRêT at 80 cannon.
Going in, finds the initial stun, steals away the Pyke ulti. Keria instantly gone, knows he can't afford that one. So it will be the trade in the end, but good defense from Creme to stop them from getting anything else.
Look at Jackie. See if he can find a W. Doesn't look like it. Keria not gonna give him the opportunity.
Keria is incredibly, incredibly vulnerable when that spell shield is not available.
TES holding on, sticking in this series, just barely. See big item completions coming through for T1 though. It gets harder and harder and harder.
Oh, maul for Guma.
I mean, they're so much magic damage. 80 Kennen is, it's tough to balance.
But he kind of has to with the comp, right? The reason he's doing it is because Jackie wanted to go
No,
AP
no,
Kaisa.
100%. And AP Kaisa is incredibly, like the poke is so good against the T1 comp that really doesn't have any poke of their own. So there's a world where as it starts to even up, as these goal differences start to mean less and less, where TES can just sit at arm's reach, the same way that T1 have done to them the last 2 games, they just poke with this Xayah.
Break point, though, is going to be this Baron fight, because T1 is 100% going to try and take that. While their lead is as big as it is, 3 items on Zeus, 3 items on Faker, 4 items on Guma, but we are slowly getting to the point where, as you mentioned, I think particularly JackeyLove having the agency, looks like he's going for the Crypt Bloom, trying and get the poke, trying and keep that backline of T1 guessing.
How much power is in that IG Xayah, that world champion? Is it enough to put a stop to T1's dominance in this series?
And this is a team built on legends of years past. 369's won MSI, JackeyLove, Meiko, Tian, all winning worlds on different lineups in different years. To go out with this again, to go out with well before you're supposed to against a T1 that no one expected to perform at this tournament. Against a T1 that took down so many seeds of the LPL, each and every single one of them last year would be crushing. In a city where Tian himself won worlds.
Yeah, there it is. As expected, T1, look at the darkness, Umbro Glaive. It's only going to be the poke from Jackie that can try and provide a little bit of vision in the darkness.
Another Baron, another round of baits. The dance continues. T1 have gotten so many picks throughout this entire series baiting on Baron. Now they're just going to try and burn through it. Again, they start damage.
It's just gone.
Guma's not even showing that he's doing damage to Baron. He's poking at mid, now they go. The Squires is there.
TP immediately coming in from 269, but he's behind the team. He's not looking to play for the flank. Objective getting burned down. Tian doesn't really have access into the pit. 2-man taunt coming in as well. Keria starting to step up. Solar Flare going a bit wide, but it's Creme on the flank. Creme has to do so much, but the feathers are there! Oh, Gumayusi was just one step ahead. The flank denied, but the rest of TES trying to make good. Oh, what Creme put together.
Faker is down. T1 just have to leave. The price they paid for that Baron.
Does mean a possible soul point here for TES. As that exit kill was big, the TP to come in. They have to force the issue right now while Faker is dead. And not allow T1 to use the power of this Baron buff.
Creme still has the Gnar ultimate. Still that lingering threat. Guma, flash, cleanse, ult. It has to come down to him if they want to stop this.
Keria's behind them.
How much can the Pyke do in isolation? Spell shield there. Waiting as long as possible.
Heart attacks all game long.
T1 doesn't have to go for this though. They can just push with Baron if they decide to do so.
They want the fight. Gnar stacked, ready to go. Creme again on the flank, the objective already down. Again, TES, good discipline. They walk away immediately, but they need to take care of these waves.
One cannon minion here for T1 to push with. Don't know if they'll be able to do much though, because Faker's got to catch bottom.
And credit to TES. Yes, they concede Baron, but at this kind of deficit, it feels like an inevitability short of a desperate flash in. Creme has a decent flank. It's interrupted initially, but that kill onto Faker buys TES a bit more space, a bit more time, slows this Baron down. There's only 90 seconds, 3 waves more left on this Baron buff. They've already handled 2 of them.
Yep, TS getting options for themselves. Jackie able to poke with the Xayah W's now. Options for the side lanes as well. They don't have teleports currently, so T1 should have the big advantage in side lanes and looking for the trap play. TS might have to worry a little bit, but Jackie continues to grow. Level 17 now for that Xayah.
And Guma's maxed out. Like, yes, level 18 full build now. Finishes his BT, which I do really like into Xayah specifically. The extra sustain makes a big difference because this poke really hurts with Crypt Bloom now done. But it does feel, again, with some of the mid-game discipline lacking from T1 and TES not giving up, not taking the punches, but instead looking for counterplay, have given them another opportunity to try and claw their way back into this best of 5.
Credit to TES, this game looked done at 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And they have fought back. They have found a way. They've punished T1 where they can. They bought the time that they needed for JackeyLove to scale up, and that's the most you can do. And now the question is, as the fights are starting to get closer and closer and the gold lead means less and less, can they find one more fight to even up this game?
Jackie with the Knight's Vow on him from Meiko, and the hopes of TES resting on his shoulders. Can they find another pick?
They can't just dive in. Is the problem. Their engage is fairly lackluster, right? You're only looking at Keria trying to hook, and that side wave is getting pushed in again.
Meiko has pulled out a few plays, though. See if he can do it again. Some snappy flashes.
And we talked about it earlier, but Keria's at the point in the game where if he missteps, he dies immediately.
Oh.
Hook not going to connect. Meiko's taunted. Wind becomes lightning. Fighting in the choke, though. Difficult against Guma, who does so much work. Easy kill pick up. TES! Caught napping! T1 obliterate them in the blink of an eye.
Is that really how it ends? Just like that? There's no Jackie, there's no Creme, they can't go these waves!
T1 continue to march forward undeterred, unstopped. Tian barely escaping, but T1 aren't done. They don't even have a wave. They might not even care. Zeus goes in for the crunch. The wave on the way. T1 looking to knock TES out. The inevitable march forward. T1 refused to lose a best of 5 to the LPL. They add TES to the long list of teams that they have taken down. T1 at Worlds are Titans, and they move on to the semifinals.
They have not done so in 11 years, and they're not planning to start today. This third game looked like it might be a turning point for the series, but it wasn't. It just ended in one big team fight, just like all the other ones.
And sometimes that's all it takes. But we've talked enough about T1 and TES. Let's send it over to the analyst desk for more on that series.
T1 at Worlds, they are inevitable. They ramp up even if you thought they wouldn't. They ramp up after even an abysmal summer. They have never, ever missed semifinals at Worlds, and they were not going to start today. They're taking their bow, and I'm blown away. And as always, as we're going to see TES in a minute as well, you know, there is a lot of how did the enemy team do, and I do think that TES really underperformed today, but I don't want to take anything away from how T1 closed out the best.
Yeah, and I think that's the real takeaway, is that it doesn't matter that TES underperformed. The individual performers on T1 were absolutely incredible today. Faker on his Ari looking great in game 1. You look at Zeus being able to hide out of vision on the Camille, but had some great engages too. Keria on this Pyke took over with some hooks that I didn't even know he was possible to hit in this game. It was everyone on T1 playing out of their minds here.
Someone wants a Pyke skin. That's all I'm saying. They want a Pyke skin. But yeah, I think the big thing, again, is the glow up from this T1 team, right? So yes, it is an underperformance from top esports. However, it's also on T1 to deliver. And especially when it came to choosing when to fight and setting up team fights, that's where T1 shone today.
Absolutely. I mean, Keria, I think, was incredible throughout this series, but also a lot of credit deserved by Faker and Zeus in that final game, where Keria wasn't playing a champ where he could actually be primary engaged. They needed to find other ways to start fights. You know, it's top lane, Zeus finding this big Mega Gnar. It's Faker coming out of the brush of the taunt. It's these plays that are actually allowing them to finish the game.
No, absolutely. And I got to talk to Gumayusi earlier on in the tournament, and I said a hallmark of your run last year in general was pushing forward the meta, having the freedom to do what you like, especially in that bot lane. And for me, the Pyke pick for Keria in this series specifically, it might be a play for a skin, who knows? But for me, it's also like, it's when the Parkeet dies in the mine, right? It is like, you gotta pay attention. Now you gotta pay attention.
But that's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's Pyke, if it's Bard. It's just him getting counterpick is absolutely insane. He has a plethora of champions that he's able to bring to the forefront, and he looks incredible on every single one of them. This man is just impeccable when he's able to do what he wants to do.
They all played out of their minds. I mean, I'm stunned.
What a glow up from this year. Again, like, the reason why I keep harping on this is not because I want to continuously say that T1 are bad, but it's to reiterate how much better they've looked at this tournament, right? Like, the wherewithal to take away from a really down summer for them and then turn it into what we've seen from them thus far is amazing, and to me, it makes a potential run way more special.
It does. We'll talk about their next matchup soon. They will be up against Gen G once again, but it's also a hallmark of great teams overall, and we talk a lot about other teams in regions, and maybe they don't have enough, the right practice to get better. T1 doesn't care about any of that, because no matter what state they are in, through their system, through their preparation, through everyone playing out of their minds at Worlds, they do make it happen. And we're just waiting for the interview on stage, because it will be the GOAT himself. 4 titles already, beating the LPL again. Yeah, it wasn't now. You want to say something?
I mean, it's incredible. I was just going to say, and T1 are doing it in their own way. We have Galio mid, which is making some showing, but we have the Bard, we have the Pyke, we have the Caitlyn. They're playing their own style, and they're finding what fits for them in this tournament.
Yes, I think it's finally time now for the interview on stage because Lore is standing by with the GOAT himself. Let's hear from Faker.
Merci messieurs, thank you so much guys. Paris, du bruit pour T1 et Faker. Ça a été une série incroyable, même si un petit peu one-sided, mais il y a une constante avec T1 à travers les âges. Au-delà des générations, la LPL contre T1, ça va toujours dans un sens. Et je me demande pourquoi. Regardless of the generation, throughout the ages, there's one thing that remains the same, T1 versus LPL, often going the same way. What is your explanation for this, Faker?
정말 세월이 지나고 강산이 바뀌어도 변하지 않는 한 가지가 있는데요. 바로 T1과 LPL이 만나면 언제나 같은 결과가 나오는 것 같습니다. 도대체 비법이 무엇인가요?
오늘 경기에서 좀 잘 됐던 것 같고 그냥 운이 좋았던 것 같습니다.
We were having an amazing game today. I think we got lucky.
Ils passaient une super partie aujourd'hui et ils pensent qu'ils ont eu de la chance, peut-être pas de la chance à chaque fois, mais en tout cas, ils arrivent toujours à être vainqueurs de la LPL. Ça a été une année compliquée pour T1, ça a été une année compliquée pour Faker. Ils ont failli ne pas se qualifier après gagner les Worlds l'an dernier, mais finalement ils sont là. T1 est plus fort que jamais une fois de plus. Quel est le secret pour durer aussi longtemps et quel est le secret pour à chaque fois revenir et surprendre pour revenir au plus haut niveau? I think it's been a difficult year for you overall. After winning Worlds, you were one game away from not making it this time around. And you were the youngest player to win Worlds. You were the oldest player to win Worlds as well. What is the secret behind this longevity and the fact that whatever life throws at you, you're always going to come back?
올 한 해도 사실은 쉽지만은 않은 여정이었습니다. 사실은 정말 한 세트만 더 졌다면 월드에 진출하지 못할 뻔했고 월드 우승 후에 사실은 많은 역경을 겪으시고 이 자리까지 오셨는데요. 최연소 월드 우승자이시자 최고령 월드 우승자 타이틀도 보유하고 계신데 어떻게 이렇게 언제나 오랜 기간 최고의 경기력을 이렇게 보여주실 수 있는 건가요?
저는 뭐 항상 계속해서 어떻게 하면 발전할 수 있을지 좀 고민하고 또 게임 하는 게 재밌기 때문에 이렇게 또 좋은 결과가 운 좋게 따라와 준 것 같습니다.
I am always constantly thinking about how I'm going to do better, how I'm going to develop myself. Also, I love playing this game League of Legends, so I think the result follows.
Son amour pour le jeu, c'est ça le secret. Now, moving on to semifinals, what is your resolution for yourself and T1 in general?
4강전, T1 그리고 페이커 선수의 각오가 궁금합니다.
4강전 누가 올라올지는 모르겠지만 굉장히 재밌는 매치가 될 것 같고 이번 8강전 때처럼 좀 좋은 경기력 보여드릴 수 있게 노력하겠습니다.
I don't know who our opponents will be yet, but it's gonna be another banger just like today, and I hope we can keep today's form just like we performed today.
Sans même savoir qui sera leur adversaire, ils espèrent juste que ce match sera un banger et qu'ils réussiront à montrer le même niveau de jeu qu'ils ont réussi à montrer aujourd'hui. Petit message pour vous, last question, dernière question ici. Vous aviez tellement hâte de le voir aujourd'hui, vous avez foutu une ambiance incroyable. Il y en a qui étaient en train de faire la queue à partir de 9h du mat pour voir Faker. Donc je vais lui demander s'il a un message pour vous. French fans were waiting for you today. We're expecting to see you today, and we're so happy. I think you heard that. I think you saw it with the atmosphere at the venue today. Do you have any words for the fans, Faker?
정말 수많은 프랑스 팬분들이 페이커 선수를 다시 한번 볼 수 있는 이 날만을 기다려왔습니다. 오늘도 보시다시피 정말 큰 사랑과 응원 보내주셨는데요. 한 말씀 부탁드려도 될까요?
네, 파리에서 굉장히 좋은 추억들이 많은데 또 팬분들이 만들어주신 거고요. 그리고 네, 이렇게까지 아직도 네, 인기가 많다는 게 굉장히 감사한 것 같고 항상 또 응원해 주셔서 감사합니다. 멜시.
It's all coming from you guys. You guys made the beautiful memories for me. And I am still very amazed that you guys still love me like this. I always appreciate your support and love. Thank you and merci.
Il apprécie énormément le soutien des Français. Il a passé des souvenirs incroyables à Paris et il nous a remerciés en français à la fin. Faker, 인터뷰 감사합니다. Jason, thank you so much for the translation. Paris, une dernière fois pour Faker et T1, s'il vous plaît.
Oh my God, what an unbelievable moment. I mean, they've seen a lot of Faker in Paris and in France specifically. Sometimes the highs, sometimes it wasn't as good, but he has definitely found a place in their heart. And our GOAT said merci. He said it. Did you hear it?
I heard it, and the people just love him. I'm not sure how clearly it comes across online, but this place is insanely loud. They love Faker. They love watching him play. They love how dedicated he is to the game and how appreciative he seems to be of all the fans.
I did love the grin on Keria's face as he just swapped through all the champions that Faker plays in game number 1. Hearing that crowd go nuts. I think it's
the rise hover was so loud. Like the crowd loved that.
Oh my God, it's so amazing. I'm so happy we have him in our sport.
And that's why he's the GOAT! Let's go, the GOAT!
So we had this graphic at the beginning of the day being everyone that Faker took out of the quarterfinals specifically. Let's grayscale everybody because some have been added, I think.
Add them to the list.
You can see all of TES there.
Oh, right, I'm
Right
sorry,
yeah.
Don't grayscale all of them. That was we've just added.
They've seen enough of that
already
today.
dead shot.
I'm sorry.
They've seen a lot of gray screens.
Oh my
today.
God. It's crazy.
I mean, it's just incredible, right? We talk so much about it, but this kind of track record, this kind of history, I don't think it will ever be matched in this game, no matter how long League is played for. This is such an insane run.
We have a minute for it, and since it was a 3-0, there was an interesting discussion that we were having backstage specifically as, you know, the semifinals record continues. Is that Faker is so important for the sport, right? But also, I think, for the general popularity of the LCK across the world, not just in Korea. Because, Rob, you were taking this loss of TES particularly very, very hard, right? Because you say, I'm always fighting in their corner. And the league is so incredible. I just want more people to talk about it and more people to watch from the Western world. And I get it, but it's like, if you have a Faker, it's you know, it's how everything develops, right? And we were thinking about an alternate timeline where if LPL had won those first couple of worlds, if Uzi had been that larger-than-life person also for the Western world, if that would have happened, it's an interesting discussion, maybe not here, but...
No, I do agree, but I think it's the fact that it's always been Faker who stood in the way of that, right?
Yeah.
Like, there has been, obviously, multiple attempts where the LPL has come up. Like, you look at 2018, you look at 2019, but it has never really been, or even like EDG as well, but it has never been, oh, we had Uzi step up. It was because, well, Faker stood in the way in 2013. This player consistently popped up to say, no, the LCK is going to be the region with the most titles. My organization is going to be the organization with the most titles. I am going to be the GOAT forever in this sport. And I think that's the incredible thing about a man like Faker.
And people just love greatness. You can see this across any sport, whether it's LeBron, whether it's Wayne Gretzky, whether it's Tom Brady, whether it's Messi. People love watching people dominate a sport, be incredible at a sport, do things that they wish they could do that inspire them. And Faker has that ability to inspire us and has been doing so for over a decade. And I think that is what makes him so truly special, not even just in League of Legends, but across sport as a whole.
And I think it's the ability to upbeat allegations that Faker does incredibly. Like, when you look at top esports today, right, there's going to be the stories we go back to of, oh, well, JackeyLove's Ezreal never performs. Tian cracks on the main stage or a playoff stage. But Faker has these stories thrown at him, and he says, I don't give a crap. I'm going to come back, I'm going to beat them every single time you put an obstacle in front of me. I'm going to come over that, I'm going to come over whatever hurdle it is. I'm going to win championship after championship, and that's what makes him a great player.
Absolutely. I hope the audience will forgive us for just going off script a little bit. I think it was spurred on by, one, the 3-0 and what would have been should have been a close match, and two, the unbelievable crowd reaction you see and the visceral reaction that Faker brings up in all of our fans. So, but now I'll bring us back down to earth, because Gen G or FlyQuest are next.
Important or.
Okay, I don't want to assume it's going to be Gen G, but I'm going to...
But everyone's going to assume it's going to be Gen G.
Yes, let's take the theoretical angle, right? Completely theoretical, Azale, that it is Gen G. Is that the final obstacle that will, you know, after, no matter how excited we are here, is that the end of the road?
I mean, it's definitely not the final obstacle. I think that T1 has the ability to overcome them. Gen G clearly has the ability to overcome T1. They have many times in the LCK. And BLG, I think, is going to be potentially that final boss. I think they're very heavily favored against Weibo. There's going to be some tough matches for everyone, though, still remaining.
I'm a little nervous about BLG against Weibo, actually, but I'll put that aside. I do want to bring up, presuming this Gen G, I'm sorry, Zale,
You're from NA too. You work on the LCS.
We've discussed this yesterday, only when they win.
I'm a terrible person. I apologize, FlyQuest. Assuming that it's going to be Gen G, over the past 2 years, they are 4-11 against Gen G in series and 17-29 in games. They have not won a series against Gen G 526 days and counting. So, again, their actual biggest obstacle might not even be the LPL. It might be Gen G.
LCK. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment for sure. So that does mean, I was gonna say we get an LPL LCK final for sure, unless FlyQuest.
If we are,
FlyQuest has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever.
The funniest thing. All right, I forgot. I was just yapping. And I forgot we still have our Oppo player of the series. It is Keria. I mean, what a guy.
Yeah, and obviously everyone's gonna look at the Pyke and be like, oh man, you're just giving it to him because of that Pyke game. I don't think he should pick Pyke again, even though he had a pretty good game.
I disagree.
It's plays like these, I think. His Rakan was absolutely incredible. I thought he was great on that. And also, again, I cannot understate, a lot of people were kind of side-eyeing Keria a lot this summer. They're like, has his luck run out? Can he only play these kind of wacky picks, these AD picks? He's shown up here insanely well.
He died once playing engaged games in the whole series.
And that's the thing, for me, this is Keria getting player of the series despite that terrible Pyke angle, but everything else was fantastic. The Bard consistently landing onto multiple people, interrupting the MF. The flash there when he was playing the Rakan to catch JackeyLove, continuously keeps up the pressure on. And Ezreal that should have been very difficult to lock down. He played immaculately. And then to step up on this Pyke to basically take over the game on a pick that was incredibly hard to operate on. It was just beautiful to watch.
It was. Beautiful last
And if he wins Worlds, he gets a Pyke skin.
It's true. Hey,
we have to get a look skin, right, somewhere in there?
Oh,
we
had a little bit of time and it was taken away from me, but I just wanted you to have to say one thing about Gen G FlyQuest.
I mean, it's going to be an incredibly difficult match. I really just hope that FlyQuest come in and can play fearless, right? I was so impressed with their preparation, with how they played against HLE. You're playing against one of the absolute best teams in the world. Yes, you are huge underdogs. You can't look at it like that, like it's a punishment. You have to look at it as an opportunity. Play with confidence, play your game, and show us what you got.
Exactly. Show us what you got. You as well as a home, because your predictions not been good. Today you won, but the last couple of days, it's been janky. Go think about what you've done, okay? Or you're going to bed without dinner, okay? Right. Anyways, good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. It is indeed our very last quarterfinal here in Paris of FlyQuest versus Gen G. Thank you for spending your day with us once again, and à demain.
Au revoir.
Wow.
Merci beaucoup.
Held back to keep Faker standing. Again, that's a flashless Ivern. Oh, he's going to get taken down. A little bit extra healing to level up, but it's first blood for Faker. A hope, a dream, the flash as well. Maybe a bit ambitious. Meiko! He doesn't know! But he thinks he got out! The genius play! A perfect use of God of War! This is T1 again, managed to find a favorable fight. But Baker's not done! Baker! He gets the double! Beautiful equalizer into 3 now on the TS backline. Is it forced away from the fight? Creme isolated to 1v1, trying to stick an equalizer of his own, but it does not matter because Jackie is in trouble. Jackie trying to make the difference with the orb, but Deception takes him down. He has flash. Zeus should be in trouble, but he makes the move first. He looks him dead in the eye and says, I dare you. Pyke going in, Phantom Undertow is clean, 369 running. Oh, come on! Hold on to the flash, but there's Oner! The flash, the knock back into the wall, the knock up as well. Right on top of Meiko, Creme doesn't really have a recourse here. Oner looking for the knockback, but Creme beyond it just in time. Knocking it too. Easy kill pick up TS. Kidnapping. T1 obliterates them in the blink of an eye. T1 refused to lose a best of 5 to the LPL. They add TS